Welcome to our presentation Fast Forwarding, Rewinding, and Path Exploration in Interactive Branch Video Streaming. My name is Niklas Carlsson. This is joint work with Albin Vogel, Erik Kronberg, and we're all at Linköping University. We have all seen a movie where we have wanted our favorite characters to make a different choice, or where we may have wanted to be in more control over their choices. Streaming provides this through clickable objects that allow the users to make viewing choices that impact the storyline. This provides a personalized interactive experience that puts the user in control over their viewing experience. This promises an attractive way for the next generation of movie lovers. While interactive branch streaming may not be mainstream yet, we've seen some promise in terms of, for example, Bandersnatch receiving many prizes and being seen by many. However, there are still many open research problems concerning how to best aid viewers of branched video. We believe that one important step in making interactive streaming more mainstream is to provide a playback bar, a generalized playback bar that people are familiar with, similar to what we see with linear video. This is something that we presented in a Multimedia 2019 paper. However, in that work, we did not consider the case of users rewatching the video multiple times, providing fast forwarding and rewinding, and to a large extent, we didn't look that deep into scalable designs. In this paper, we recognize that users typically often rewatch branched video content, and that this mostly have been forgotten in interface designs. This is especially important since users are impatient, as we need tools that allow users to effectively navigate and explore such video. So what do we do in this paper? Well, the main contributions are the design, implementation, and evaluation of interface solutions to help users to effectively navigate the video and identify and explore previously unviewed storylines. For solutions, they allow users to effectively forward rewind the branched video structure. They work with large generalized video structures and are open source. For user study, to evaluate this, demonstrate the added value of our novel designs, present promising trade-offs, provides insights into the pros and cons of different design alternatives, and highlight the features that best addresses specific task and design aspects. To illustrate an example design, let's consider a basic example from the paper. Here the user is presented three options: no, nut attack, and dead butterfly. To inform the user of how much time he or she has to make the decision, we have a countdown counter. To inform the user of current buffer conditions and upcoming branches, we use a playback bar that provides a partial view over the branching structure. The user can also use the back buttons to go back to a previous branch point. Now you may ask if there's a forward button. In this case, we chose not to show such a button because we currently have to make one of these choices. However, as soon as we've passed that branch point, we now again show the forward button, as illustrated here. If we choose to click that button, we will now move to the next branch point, which may look something like this. Now that's how the basic version of the playback bar looks like. Let us now consider some research questions. First, consider how to best display the branch structure. So here we compared example designs. So at the top here we see the partial view that we're already seen in the example design. At the bottom we see an extended partial view where we see a little bit more of the branch structure, both forward and backwards. And in the evaluation we compare these ones. Another question is how far to allow the users to jump. In the top version here, we see how we can jump as far as we want backward and 2 steps forward, whereas in the bottom one, we only provide the option to go 1 forward and 1 backward, highlighted by the white dots. Now the next thing that we look at is how to seamlessly transition from one edge to the next. So here we essentially need to take the current branch and store away that branch point and then open up the next one. And in the paper we described how this is done step by step. Here it sort of provides a short overview. In the paper we also consider the branch buttons and the pacing and some other questions. So here's 2 example questions. So the first question is how to best augment buttons to inform the user about the degree each path have been explored. And the answer is really it depends. So the results suggest that you should not show any information during the first viewing, whereas in later viewings, the users prefer to see the exact ratio of the number of paths explored thus far. And the second question, example question, is to stall or not to stall when the countdown counter reaches 0. So we've seen this countdown counter, and should I pause or not when it reaches 0? And also here it depends. So when you view it in regular playback, yes, users wanted you to pause, and that's what we found in the 2019 paper. However, when you actively do forwarding and rewinding, users actually wanna do a pause. So how did we find this out? Well, we performed a user study with 24 participants, all university students, with varying but limited experience with interactive branch streaming. We performed a 3-part study that took about 45 minutes, where the first part was essentially user's test using 3 example designs and 3 tasks per design. And then after all those tests had been done, we did a head-to-head comparisons with ranking and picking winners. And then we did a feature-by-feature comparison by different features that we implemented. Some of them they had tested and some not. And then we tried to reduce the order effects and potential influences by using balanced Latin squared, rotating trees, and avoid leading questions, details in the paper. In the user test, we presented 3 example designs. Design A had backward and forward buttons. In design B, in addition to that, had the partial view for the playback bar. And for design C, we didn't provide any forward and backwards, but we made all the white ones here clickable so that you could jump forward by clicking these ones and making these ones clickable so you could go backwards. And then in our user study before all the experiments, we let the user familiarize themselves, and then we went through all these 3 designs. And for each of those 3 designs, they had 3 tasks. In the first task, we looked at how the design was perceived by first-time users. Here we just wanted them to watch from start to end. In the second task, we asked them to navigate to a specific spot. We wanted to see how well they navigated the media. And in the third task, we looked at how well they explored different storylines. So here we asked them to explore every single storyline. Let's now look at some example results. Here we look at NASA TLX, where we found that in general, the playback bar came with a low cognitive load. And then we looked at SEQ questions, a single ease question, where we found that the playback bar doesn't really complicate the task. We verified this by looking at the task completion times presented in the paper. And then third, we used Likert questions, where we essentially found that the design B was both well liked and found helpful. Let's now consider some example results where we ask the users to make direct comparisons between the different designs. So here the users had used all the 3 designs and were asked to rank them. In the first one we have here, we asked for regarding navigation. And here the B was the clear winner. So you have both the forward and backwards, and you have the playback bar so that you can sort of get a view for what's going on. For identification and exploration, so where you try to find many paths, we found that design B and C, so the two with playback bar, were preferred. Similarly, we asked them to pick a winner for 5 different tasks, so forwarding, rewinding, search, find, explore. So here the tasks become more and more complex as we go downwards. And with regards to 4 different criteria, so it's the speed to solve the task, the helpfulness, the ease of use, and the preference. In general, again, the complexity go in this direction. We found that B was the choice for easy tasks, and design C, where you can do bigger jumps, was the one that was desirable for more complex tasks. So in general, the playback bar with extended partial view is increasingly desirable as the task becomes more complex. So let's conclude. In this paper, we presented and evaluated playback bar solutions for the problem of how to best facilitate branch navigation for users rewatching a branched video and/or users wanting to identify and skip possibly explored paths. We presented design and implementation of interface designs and features that help users effectively navigate and explore branched video. And we perform user tests and perform design comparisons that suggest that the solutions provide significant help, added value, and adds at a limited cognitive load and are well liked. With that, I want to thank you for listening, and regardless if you choose the path of a T-Rex or a Triceratops when you watch this type of movie, I hope you will enjoy the rest of the conference.